Howdy, comic fans. It is Mike from the Hardcover Comic here. Today, we're going to talk about Lazarus, an Image Comics series from master craftsmen Greg Rucka and Michael Lark. These dudes are just incredible talents. I love this series so much. So, let's take a look at Lazarus, talk about the series, the characters, the creators, and take a look at the books and the artwork. All right, before we start getting crazy with Lazarus, just quickly want to mention we are sponsored by Dr. Squatch. They're an organic soap company, a subscription service that brings soaps to your door. They have new scents every month, every other month or so, something like that. But all the time they're getting new scents. It's great. Matt loves them, uses them all the time. So they are the hardcover comic approved. With the link in the description, you will get free shipping on your order for life. Check it out. Be sure to check out our Patreon as well, patreon.com/the hardcover comic. There's a link down below. We're going to be doing a hardcover giveaway at the end of every month, along with digital, Marvel, and DC comic codes throughout the month as well. So be sure to check that out. And lastly, be sure to hit that subscribe button down below. Actually, let's start with that. Before we dive into Lazarus, be sure to subscribe if you haven't already. Hit that notification bell as well so you know whenever we post a new video. Hit that like button as well, that thumbs up. It helps us out a lot, folks. Real quick, we are sponsored by Dr. Squatch, an organic soap company. It's a subscription service. They bring soaps to your door. They have seasonal scents, new scents, limited time scents. Matt uses them, loves them. So it's a great, fantastic product. And with the link in the description down below with the hardcover comic, you will get free shipping for life with your subscription. Also, be sure to check out our Patreon if you're interested in hardcover comic giveaways, along with Marvel and DC digital comic giveaways. Throughout the month, we give out codes, and we're going to be doing voting with a hardcover comic giveaway at the end of every month for our Patreon, so check that out. Hardcover comic, patreon.com/hardcover comic. All right, Lazarus. Now, this is a video I've honestly shot a few times and had to scrap because I couldn't get it right. Lazarus is an incredible series that I've returned to over and over again. It's an Image Comics series. In terms of hardcover editions, it's had that sort of unfortunate luck where we never know when the next volume's going to come out. And so it's always been a waiting game and just hoping that the next volume comes out because the story is fantastic. So we've got 3 volumes so far, and with these 3 volumes, you get the first 26 issues of the Lazarus series, along with Lazarus X plus 66, which was a mini, ran for 6 issues. So across these 3 hardcovers, you get that. The third volume has the Lazarus X plus 66 mini series in it. Now, the unfortunate thing is that Lazarus ran for 28 issues, so we've got these 2 lone issues that were not collected in oversized hardcover edition, but Greg Rucka and Michael Lark have returned since finishing Lazarus to do Lazarus Risen, which is a continuation, of course, and they've been doing these oversized issues, so it comes out every 2 or 3 months at 40 to 60 pages, something like that. So very cool stuff there, and I'm sure we'll see a 4th volume as well. Hopefully a 5th someday. I don't know how long the series is going to run. But let's talk a little bit about the story. It's a fantastic, fantastic story set in a dystopian future where the 1% has now become like the 0.1%, and they pretty much run the world. There are no more countries. Maybe there are. It doesn't seem that way. It seems like everything's divided by these family territories. So these super wealthy families have now created their own territories, and these families run the territory, sort of like an international mafia style world. So the main family that we follow is the Carlisle family. They are the family that pretty much has the west coast of the U.S. That's basically their territory. They're bordered by Moray in the south, Bittner and Hawk in the east and northeast. I'll show you guys a map. It's really cool. There are great maps within the hardcovers as well. There's awesome bonus content in here as well that we'll look over. But there's a lot of world building that Greg Rucka and Michael Lark did with this series. There's all these families. They all have histories and relationships with each other. The characters all have different relationships with each other. You get to see these Lazarus characters interact. And now, of course, what is a Lazarus? A Lazarus is basically a character that each family has, and it's sort of their security, their defense, their main point of contact when it comes to physical conflict and even negotiation at times. So the Lazarus, they're all different depending on the family. They have different abilities. In the Carlisle family, we have a character named Forever. She is the Lazarus of the Carlisle family. She can regenerate. She has heightened senses and abilities. She's a really great character, and the best part about her is not only the fact that she's a badass fighter, but she is such a great character as she starts to figure out secrets about her family, what her true origin is, the relationships among family members and how it's affecting her, her relationship with her father, Malcolm Carlisle. Of course, there are a whole bunch of siblings in the family too. You have Joanna, I think there's Stephen as well, Jonah, Bethany. There's a whole cast of characters going on here, and what's crazy about it is, while you have all these conflicts happening between different families throughout the storyline, the real conflicts are within the family itself, right? The Carlisle family is so broken. Everyone wants even more power. Everyone's even greedier. Everyone's got their own motives, their own relationships outside of the Carlisle family. It's really intense, and it's really beautiful to see how intricate the web work is that Greg Rucka and Michael Lark create here. So I would love to talk about each story arc individually. In the first volume, okay, so first off, if you don't know what a deluxe edition is, it is an oversized hardcover format where the pages are literally bigger than a comic book page, slightly, but they're still bigger. The paper's nice and thick. It collects a good set of issues, about 12 to 15 issues, typically with Image Comics, and so we've got 3 for Lazarus here. So within each family zone, there's a bunch of hierarchies in terms of people's placement within the world. So you've got family members, you've got serf, and then you've got waste. You've also got militia in there at somewhere in between. But basically, that's how they rank the citizens within each territory. The waste really don't get much; they're really at the bottom of the barrel. And we find out in volume 2 that there is something. Sorry, in volume 1 that there is something called the lift, where a family will lift someone up from the title of waste to a serf, depending on their capabilities, their talents, their intelligence, and various other factors as well. In the second volume, things get really intense as we start seeing all the families come together for what's called a conclave. I don't want to spoil the reason for the conclave. It has one of the best hand-to-hand combat comic sequences ever. I'll show a couple pages, and it's really cool because Michael Lark actually shows his process for that fight scene in the bonus content, which we'll go over as well. It's really, really damn cool. The third volume, while I enjoyed it, you've sort of got an all-out war happening. Again, I'm not going to spoil why, but you've got real warfare happening between various families. And then in X plus 66, we get to see what happens over the next couple years, right, between this war and I guess whatever happens in Lazarus Risen, and then issues 27 and 28. So it'll be really cool to see what happens. X plus 66 is not Michael Lark. There's a whole bunch of different artists that worked on that mini, and it's good. It's good, not as good as the main series, and it'll be interesting to see how they go with this next hardcover edition, which I'm hoping we get because of the the 2 issues still remaining for Lazarus that were not collected in this third deluxe edition. But I truly love this series. I will absolutely pick up a 4th deluxe edition if it comes out. You guys really should check this out. It's a series I've reread multiple times, especially with the delayed releases of each hardcover. I've gone back and started from the beginning each time, and it's been 100% worth it. There are amazing characters in this story. It's an intricate plot with a lot of details, and you always pick up on something that you missed out on the first or second or third time. So it's great for that reason. It's such a huge and rich world that you get to dive into, and Greg Rucka and Michael Lark are incredibly talented at bringing that to life. So we've spoken about the plot a little bit, about the writing and how fantastic it is. Let's talk about the artwork a little bit. Michael Lark is a force to be reckoned with. You may have seen him work on titles such as Gotham Central with Greg Rucka. The way he draws characters is fantastic. They all look very different. They all have unique features. You're never struggling to determine who's who. The facial expressions are incredibly detailed, and he's able to tell a lot more than just what the words can express with the way he draws his characters and his environments. One of the best things about Michael Lark is his action sequences. They're fantastic. From the very first page of Lazarus, issue number 1, you get to see what the 2 creators here have in store for you. And Michael Lark, man, in terms of sequencing fights, I don't know if there's anyone better. The Moon Knight fight that Declan Shalvey did in Moon Knight number 5 was pretty dope. But what happens in Lazarus, especially in the Conclave arc, between a couple Lazarus characters. Wow, man. Wow. It's beautiful. And what's really cool is Michael Lark actually included these awesome photos that him and his friend, I guess, were at a park, and they took out these samurai swords and they're fighting with each other. And that's pretty much what he used to reference for the fight scene itself. And it's really cool, really awesome to see the process. In general, these books have a lot of awesome bonus content. I mean, we're talking about scripts here. We're talking about photos, concept art, propaganda posters, world building, extra content, and material. It's really, really cool. I truly appreciate what the two creators did with this series. They added so much depth and richness to it, and it's something I can't recommend highly enough. You're looking at about $35 to $40 cover price US, which isn't terrible considering you're getting, 12 to 15 issues in these books. Of course, they are far cheaper on in-stock trades and Amazon. I don't think any of these are out of print or hard to find, so you could probably pick up all three for a decent price. It shouldn't be too hard for you to get them. And in terms of the build, they're beautiful. I mean, most image hardcovers are really well put together. The design is clean, it's simple, it's got beautiful artwork by Michael Lark. It fits the aesthetic of the title that you feel throughout the title. They're really nicely put together. I like the slight variations in color. The hardcover itself is very well put together. The paper is thick. The binding is tight. It's going to hold a long time, but it's not too difficult to read and hold and open up. It won't stay open on its own, of course, but it's a small book, so it's not very heavy. You can easily pick it up, fondle it, move it around however you have to. So what do you guys think of Lazarus? Is it a series you've read? Is it something you've wanted to recommend to people? Let us know down in the comments below. If you're going to check out Lazarus, I want to know what you think about it. It's really fantastic. At least check out the first issue or two. You'll be hooked, believe me. Check it out digitally and then dive in on these hardcovers because it's totally worth it. Again, you are taking a bit of a chance. You're safer with the trade paperbacks since those are pretty much guaranteed, but it's nice to get these Image Deluxe editions. Really nice, high quality books. Before we take off, guys, just be sure to subscribe if you haven't already and hit that notification bell as well. What that will do is it will let you know whenever we post a new video, which is daily. Be sure to check out Dr. Squatch as well. If you're looking for soap, they're an organic soap company with a subscription service that delivers soap to your house every month. With us, with the link down below in the description, you will get free shipping with your subscription for life. And lastly, check out our Patreon, patreon.com/the hardcover comic. We're going to be doing hardcover comic giveaways at the end of every month, along with other giveaways. We're giving away digital codes every week. So be sure to check that out as well if you're interested. We're all about getting stuff to make content and then give it away to you folks. So it's going to be real fun in the future. But thank you all very much for tuning in. This is Mike from the Hardcover Comic. Until next time, as always, you stay classy, Internet.